Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Last Word Sports. I'm your host tonight, Fletcher, and tonight I'm going to be giving you guys my mock draft. So, right here, I'm on Mock Draft Machine by TDN, and we're gonna get it kickstarted here with the Cincinnati Bengals. And obviously, I don't think anybody's gonna be surprised by this pick right here, Joe Burrow. He was absolutely outstanding in every single capacity this year. And yeah, enough said. Anyways, moving on to the second pick. uh, You know, I could see them going with Jeffrey Okuda because I feel like their cornerback should be a little bit further up on their list of needs. I could see them going Jeffrey Okuda. However, I think Chase Young is just too much of a freak not to draft. So then we get to a team like the Detroit Lions, where I actually do agree their number one need is linebacker, but this isn't the strongest linebacker class. So I'm actually going to go with their secondary team need, and that is to pick what I think is the best uh, Jeff co coverage corner to come out of the draft in years, and that would be Jeffrey Okuda out of Ohio State. So moving on to the New York Giants, um we're I think we're going to see the first linebacker taken off the board here, going into and that's going to be playing in MetLife this next year. So I'm going to pick Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson. He's very athletic. He knows what he's doing. A very smart player. Obviously watches a lot of films. He's just a freak that can make plays all across the field. So that'll take us to the Miami Dolphins. And while I could see them going with Justin Herbert out of Oregon, I can't deny them taking Tua. Tua just seems like the quarterback that's going to end up in Miami. He just fits the bill. Yes, there are injury concerns there, but I think the hype with Tua in Miami and obviously his arm talent is unreal. He's been proven over multiple years, unlike the number one consensus quarterback, Joe Burrow. He's been proven over multiple years. Tua Tagovailoa, he's just a great option. Now the Chargers, I'm going Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, he's got all the intangibles, 6'6", big arm, he can make the plays, he's deceivingly athletic. Not many people know about his athleticism that I think is going to be shown off the NFL combine. But yeah, number 6, the Chargers take Justin Herbert out of Oregon. So moving on to number 7, we are going to see the Carolina Panthers take Derek Brown here. They need that inside defensive lineman. Their D line has been weak. They now lost Luke Kuechly, and while that may bring up the argument for, well, they're gonna take a linebacker. There's no good linebackers for them to take at this stage in the draft. In the top 10, the only linebacker they could have taken is Isaiah Simmons, and he's off the board. Anyways, we are moving on to the Cardinals, and mm, it's really down to Wirfs and Jedrick Wills. I'm actually gonna have them taking Wirfs out of Iowa. I like Wirfs a lot. He's a really good um, offensive tackle. He can protect the quarterback very well. He's a very powerful uh, offensive tackle. You'll probably see him flex him out to the left. And now we're moving on to Jacksonville, and they need a cornerback to replace Jalen Ramsey. So I think they're actually going to reach a little bit on a DB. I don't have Christian Fulton this high on my draft board, but I think they're going to take the cornerback out of LSU and plug him in probably as a starter, if not the nickel. I don't know. I could see him being a starter though in Jacksonville. So then Cleveland. Cleveland, I think this is when we see Jedrick Wills. In my opinion, the number 2 offensive tackle in the draft, taken off the board. He's going to be a Cleveland Brown. At least I see that's what they need. So now we're moving on to the Jets, another team that needs an offensive tackle. However, I don't think they're going to draft an offensive tackle. I think they're going to be taking Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. Robbie Anderson, he's good, but he's not elite. They really want an elite receiver that's going to help out Samantha Darnold. Yes, I said Samantha. And I think they're going to take a weapon here in Jerry Jeudy. And this is going to leave open a big time decision here for Gruden now. Moving to Las Vegas, flashy, you're thinking speed. Henry Ruggs, it's looking tempting, but then no, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the pick here. He's an outstanding receiver and arguably better than Jerry Jeudy, but we will have to see how that shakes out in the NFL. So now we're moving on to number 13, the Indianapolis Colts, and I, I, this one's a tough one for me. I could see them taking Javon Kinlaw or Henry Ruggs. I think they're going to focus on Kinlaw, getting that presence on the D line. You know, I don't think Henry Ruggs is going to be that superstar talent that's going to draw them in to bite on that receiver. I think Henry Ruggs is going to fall a little bit further here. So now we move on to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, I'm calling a no lineman, and now a lot of people are going to say Andrew Thomas. I think Mekhi Becton, the huge monstrous tackle out of Louisville, is actually going to go this high. To me, it's going to end up being a little bit of a reach, but I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting Mekhi Becton. So then we move on to the Denver Broncos. I don't think there's much analysis that needs to go in here. They're going to want to get another receiver, and it's going to be Henry Ruggs out of Alabama, the speedster, absolute monster. So now we get to the Atlanta Falcons once again. I don't think much analysis needs to go in here. Their biggest need is edge, arguably corner. I could see somebody making a solid argument for corner, but they need edge rushers. They were terrible getting to the quarterback next year, so they're going to get a good athlete here out of. I don't want to try to pronounce his name. Calavon Jason. I'm so sorry. But now we're getting to the Dallas Cowboys, and this is where we're going to see the first safety taken off the board. And no, it's not Xavier McKinney. Get that out of here. It's Grant Delpit out of LSU. Monster safety. He's going across the entire field. He's an absolute beast. So it's going to be Grant Delpit. He's going to be wearing that navy and white, the Dallas Star. He's going to Jerry's World down south. So then we're back to the Miami Dolphins, and this is where we're going to see AJ Epineza taken. He is a very outstanding edge rusher coming out of Iowa. Yes, it is Iowa. He holds all the intangibles you want in an NFL edge rusher. He's got size, he's got athleticism, he's just an all-around monster. So then we get to Oakland, and Oakland's secondary has been struggling for quite a while now. They've got an older secondary. They're going to need to fill the need at corner or safety. Personally, once again, I see Xavier McKinney slipping, falling again, and I see them taking CJ Henderson out of Florida. I just, that's how I see it shaking out. I don't see um, Xavier Xavier McKinney going to the Oakland Raiders. I don't think that's going to be a John Gruden pick. I don't know why exactly, but I see CJ Henderson being much more appealing to Gruden and the Oakland Raiders. So next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is where we're going to see Xavier McKinney taken off the board. He's an outstanding safety out of Alabama. He's got all the intangibles to be good. There's a couple question marks, on intelligence or whatever. I don't think that's going to end up being an issue. He's not a student anymore. He's going to be a full-time NFL player. He's going to get he's going to get his butt in the film room. He's going to make sure he tries to impress everybody around him. So now we're at the Eagles. And oh boy. The Eagles, they're at such an awkward spot with their cap and everything, and they're not going to be left with much of what they want here in the draft. They really need a corner. They really need a linebacker. They really need a receiver. I don't think Laviska Shenault is good enough to go this high, if I'm being honest. I just don't. He's an outstanding receiver, but not good enough. I see them going linebacker here. I see them going Patrick Queen out of LSU. He's a solid linebacker. He can come up, make the tackles excellent inside the box. So now we're moving on to the Buffalo Bills. I so I want to see them taking a running back here, but I'm not sure they're going to. So I'm gonna say that they're going to take Laviska Shenault out of Colorado, put another weapon around um, Josh Allen, and that's that. So now we're at the Patriots. No, they're not taking a tight end with their first round pick. That is not going to happen, especially not in this draft. So what they're going to be looking at is Andrew Thomas out of Georgia coming onto the team, being another solid lineman, and that's that. Bill Belichick's got another solid piece at the offensive line position. So now we get to the New Orleans Saints. And what I think the New Orleans Saints are going to do here is it's a tough one. I think they're likely going to go. I think they're going to go with a D lineman right here. Yeah, they're going to go with the D lineman right here. They're going to go Neville and Gallimore out of Oklahoma. He's been solid. I haven't watched too many Oklahoma games, but outside of the semifinal game, but I think they're going to go Neville here. So now we are at the Minnesota Vikings. This is a team that looks good all regular season, just doesn't know how to make it work in the postseason. They had a great game against the Saints, but then they fall flat against the Niners. I just don't understand why they can never do it. Anyways, that is besides the point. They are going to go with a cornerback here. They're going to go Jeff Gladney out of TCU. Not much needs to be said there. Xavier Rhodes past his prime, he's done. He's no longer going to be a starting cornerback in the NFL after this year. And so Dolphins, they are going to go with an interior offensive lineman. We're going to have to scroll down a little bit. There's Lloyd there. There's Caesar. Hold on. Gosh, where are all of them? Yeah, no. I just want to make sure there were no names I was forgetting about. They're going to go Cesar Ruiz. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Out of Michigan. He's a solid inside offensive lineman. I haven't watched a lot of Michigan except for the Penn State and Ohio State game. He looked good. Didn't really give up much pressure for the quarterback. Solid run blocker. Not much that needs to be said. So now we're moving on to Seattle, and I think Yetur Gross-Matos actually makes a lot of sense for Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. He just seems like a guy that would mesh really well in that system. And now we've moved on to the Baltimore Ravens. And Baltimore, they draft a little weird, but they always find a way to make it work. And I think they're going to see this guy, Jonathan Taylor, on the board right here, and they're going to say, oh, heck yeah, Mark Ingram's a little older. They're going to groom this man right here. He's going to be a monster running back for years to come. So now we've made it to the Titans, and they are going to be all in on an edge rusher here. So they're going to get Zach Bond. He's probably not going to play too much his first year or the year after that even, but he's going to sit behind Jarrell Casey. He's going to take the back seat. He's going to learn. He's going to do great. So now we have the Green Bay Packers who suffered that less than pleasant loss to watch against the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game, but I see them going receiver here. Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams. That's all we see. He needs some help. So they're going KJ Hamler. He's been, pretty solid at Penn State. Once again, haven't watched too much Penn State but what I have watched from them is KJ Hamler being a very solid wide receiver. So now we're moving on to the San Francisco 49ers. And what I see them doing here is definitely drafting secondary. The question is, who do they draft in the secondary? They've got Arnett out of Ohio State as an option, Ashton Davis or Antoine Winfield if they want to reach a little bit, but I do think it's going to come back to Damon Arnett out of Ohio State. He's going to be a new corner there. You know, Richard Sherman's getting up there in age. He seems like he's a very intuitive player who's going to be willing to listen, and that's where I see them going with this 31st overall pick after a disappointing choke job against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So now we have the Kansas City Chiefs here, and what I see them doing is going not cornerback. I think their cornerbacks are going to be fine. I see them going with an interior offensive lineman who's likely going to be playing guard, and that is Cushenberry the third out of LSU. Very solid guard. This will finalize the draft. Here it is one more time. If you guys have any disputes, please leave it down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share it, do whatever you would please. This has been Fletcher from The Last Word. Goodbye.